Truth is, the Speaker's friends have their own super PAC, and they're playing just as tough with Governor Romney now. It is testing time, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Plus, unlike New Hampshire, we enter the final hours and the final debate here with absolutely no certainty about who will win, which is why the attacks are getting more pointed and more personal. Let's continue the discussion now. Joining me here in Charleston, Jim Dyke, a Republican political consultant and the president of JDA Frontline, and Amy Kremer. She's the chair of the Tea Party Express. Jim, you know this state very well. Since the debate Monday night, our polling shows it. If you talk to the campaigns, they see it. Our poll says Governor Romney, if you take the full poll, has a 10-point lead. But if you look at the last day and if you talk to the campaigns, they think right now we have a single-digit race. Why?
Well, I think that nobody's ever questioned whether Newt Gingrich was an effective campaigner. It's when he's not an effective campaigner is the problem. And he's been very effective in the last several days. He was very effective at the debate. He's been out on the stump. Mitt Romney also needs to step up his game a little bit. He needs to show confidence in who he is. I don't know that the attacks about his record are as damaging, seeming uncomfortable about the issues, and particularly his personal issues. If he feels uncomfortable with it, it makes others feel uncomfortable.
You mentioned personal issues. For him, it's releasing your taxes. People say you're wealthy, you don't get it. Are you paying less than the average Joe here in South Carolina? Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, pretty popular Republican across the country, a Romney guy. Listen to him on the question of the tax returns.
What I would say to Governor Romney is, if you have tax returns to put out, you should put them out. You put them out sooner rather than later, because it's always better, in my view, to have complete disclosure, and especially when you're the front runner.
One of your most influential and important surrogates, essentially, that's a kick in the you-know-what. Release those tax returns, Governor Romney. Does that have an impact? Do average voters care? Is it about the specifics of the tax returns, or it is about, well, if he's not willing to do it, is he hiding something?
Well, John, I think there's so many dynamics in play here, and I think people truly don't know, who they're going to vote for. There's a large percentage of people that are still undecided. But you know what? I mean, I think they all should release their tax returns. I mean, go ahead, put it out there, because it's one less thing for somebody to attack you over. And you get it out there, it's front and center, and you disclose it, and I think that's better for everybody. So, but at the end of the day, I think the voters are going to decide not on tax returns, so much, but on who has the best ideas and solutions and the ability to turn the economy around and create jobs. It's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. And when President Obama today, denied the Keystone Pipeline, I mean, that is unbelievable. And that's what Americans are focused on right now, is turning the economy around and getting people back to work.
The question South Carolina has essentially is, bless Romney, coming out of New Hampshire, the big win, say, yes, we agree, which would make him the prohibitive favorite, or essentially say, not so fast, not so fast. Let's send this campaign on to Florida, to Arizona, to Nevada, and to Michigan. I've asked you several times, will the Tea Party step up itself here? If you look at our new poll, support for Republican nominee among likely Tea Party voters in this state of South Carolina. Speaker Gingrich now getting 31%. That's up 8 points from January. Governor Romney at 26%. That's down 6 points from January. What is it that's causing the Tea Party vote to move some toward the Speaker?
Well, I think that they're just focused on the issues at hand and who has the ability to beat Barack Obama. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. And individuals have to make that decision. I know that, the social conservatives have a role here, but at the end of the day, and this is why the Tea Party's been so influential, is because we focus only on the fiscal issues, and we don't focus on the social issues or the foreign policy. So, the voters are going to decide who is going to, who's best suited to turn the economy around. And I don't know. I mean, I've said before, and I think I probably said it on your show, Newt Gingrich was involved with the Tea Party movement from the very beginning. He's put together a good ground game here in South Carolina. And I hear from a good source that there is a large number of Tea Party leaders from across the country coming out tomorrow to support somebody. And so, the Tea Party movement, I've always said, no matter who wins this, they can't win it without the support of the Tea Party movement.
And so if you're Governor Romney and you're in this hall tomorrow night, you're on stage, you and your 4 other rivals, Governor Romney's strategy in most of the debates, Jim, has been, if it's a slight hit, to let it go, pivot, let's focus on President Obama, not to get involved in the data. Can he do that now, or does he have to, one, answer the questions about his record or his taxes more aggressively, and two, turn and counterpunch?
Certainty. He needs to provide certainty. He needs to provide certainty that voters that he's comfortable with who he is, with his record. He got a little wobbly on Monday night. He needs to reassert himself, the confidence that he had in the debates prior. He does need to stay focused on Barack Obama. That's the issue. Passion that you saw in Monday night's debate was over beating Barack Obama. That's what Republicans are rallied around in the state of South Carolina.
So we have what I call the two parallel universes right now. We could wake up on Sunday morning and have Romney wins Iowa, Romney wins New Hampshire, Romney wins South Carolina. Or we could wake up and say Iowa went back and checked the results. Senator Santorum won Iowa. We might hear that as early as tomorrow. If he did, it'll be only by a few votes, just like we say Romney won by 8, maybe Santorum won by a few. But if we wake up Sunday morning and we have Santorum in Iowa, Romney in New Hampshire, Gingrich in South Carolina, we've got a very different race, a very different conversation in the Republican Party than we were having yesterday and at least through part of today. Do we not?
No question. You would have three candidates who could claim that they are viable and can go the long haul. I suspect you'd see money begin to go to all three, and you'd have a completely different race.
But you know what? It's representative of what's going on across this country right now, and people just simply don't know.
People don't know. So let's run the calculation. Is it better for the Republican Party when you have a well-funded, well-organized incumbent president, for the Republican Party to have this over, or is it better to do a replay of the Democrats in 2008? You have that long Clinton-Obama race. A lot of people worried, would it weaken them? In the end, I think most people would agree, and many Republicans, I think most Republicans would agree, Senator Obama was a better candidate having survived that.
A better candidate, one, and two, it allows the party to organize in these states. If you have a contest, you bring more voters out, more Republican voters, you're able to organize. You leave the state with a passion going into the general election, an organization, a passion with a better candidate.
I agree with him. I mean, they're better suited for the attacks. I mean, they build that defense around them. But on the other hand, Barack Obama, you know, they've claimed that they're going to raise $1 billion to run this campaign. And
they say somebody else came up with that number, and it's not there.
These candidates right now are raising money to fight each other. So, you know, that's the downside of it. But look, at the end of the day, I think all Republican candidates would be better than, you know, President Barack Obama. I can't see any of them turning down the Keystone Pipeline for jobs, and that's what's important to Americans.
A couple of let's mention and talk about a couple of the other candidates here. Number one, Ron Paul was an impact player in Iowa, an impact player in New Hampshire. Most see him in this for the long haul because he does have an organization and a movement. I don't see him as the nominee, but potentially an impact. Is he going to register here in South Carolina?
Oh, yeah, Ron Paul has a following everywhere. It's not enough to win the election, but he's got a following everywhere.
Is Rick Perry done?
It's a real honor.
I mean, Rick Perry's still in it right now.
But if he comes in 5th here, will Governor Perry go on?
I mean, you know, I don't know. We all know that money plays a significant part of these campaigns. So, you know, Governor Perry has to
do you suspect if he's 5th here by the time we get to a debate in Florida?
It's currently very tough to see a path forward for Governor Perry.
Jim Dyke, Amy Kremer, appreciate your insights tonight. Fascinating couple final days here in South Carolina. It's going to be fun to be in that hall tomorrow night. Many of you, if you're sports fans, you know him as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.